if you've looked at the releases.
No, I haven't opened the show notes.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Oh yeah, February starts, doesn't it? Crap. I
Yeah.
forgot about
Yep.
that. It's time for
All
the
right, hello
season
internet.
of games.
How's it going? How's everyone doing?
In a world
In a
where
world
February starts.
where video games come out again.
Oh my god, Boston, really?
Yeah. What? Yes. What? Yes.
All of these games? Every single one of them?
Every single one of them.
And I only picked like the ones that I think are maybe gonna be good. Like I didn't.
Hey,
I didn't
Hello
pick
Kitty
all of them.
Island Adventure was foretold in South Park decades ago. Okay.
Speaking of video games coming out, Moon, I forgot to tell you, whenever I do show notes, I always pull except for the three of us, nobody can see the show notes. So let me explain. Show notes is formatted into releases, then right below that is news stories. In the releases, it's game name, then underneath that, platforms it comes out on, the trailer that you'll see right over here next to me once we start talking about releases, and then underneath that, any notes that we need to talk about, like Game Pass, PS Plus, prices, who developed it, stuff like that.
Or
Plus,
sometimes something funny. Yeah.
sometimes
Like,
something funny
what
if
the
I
fuck
feel
is this bullshit?
especially spicy.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you for the Pac-Man Metroidvania.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I put the IGDB short description in the show notes as well, because sometimes by like an hour and a half of us talking about the first segment, I forget what a game is in the second part, and that just kind of like kickstarts my memory a little bit. The number of times whenever I do all of those show notes, I go to IGDB and I hit the upcoming games page, and I look at not what's coming out today, but what's coming out in the next 7 days. And every once in a blue moon, I'll find something in there that looks cool, but it wasn't on any of the other sites I look at. I feel like once a month, there's a new Hidden Cats in something game that's coming out. Just like everywhere around the world, in space, in famous artworks.
Well, last month was the Christmas one, so...
Right,
yeah.
like, it's always like Hidden Cats in Christmas time. It's like, you know what? Good on you. These games are like $2 a pop.
They're like $2. You can get them on sale for like $1.50.
Yeah,
Frequent.
like you're doing good stuff there.
And not
And
to
I like the
discredit
fact that
work that goes into it, but I don't imagine it's entirely
not.
time consuming.
Right.
Yeah. They should be easy to pop those out.
Yeah, if they're
which
really
makes them fun.
pushing these things out, I can't imagine that they would be super hard to. I'm sure they're hard because making games is hard, but like,
Oh yeah.
Let me
but
just
I can't imagine it being that hard.
open TA here and write Hidden Cats and see what it autofills.
Oh yeah, what's the count?
Shy Hidden Cats Orchestra, which I think was a prequel to the Hidden Cats franchise. There's a lot of
got
Hidden
more.
Cats games.
Hidden Cats episode 0.
Yeah.
Hold on, they have a page for the Hidden Cats series.
Cat's origin stories.
That's right.
London, New York, Paris, Rome, Berlin, Spooky Town, and Santa's Realm are the current 7. They're,
7. Okay. Love
Well,
those
where do
Hidden
they fit in
Cats,
the
man.
timeline? Are we going like release order or chronological order, or how's this working out?
Yeah, where's the like Yakuza 0 equivalent?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, London was the first one officially. That was the first one that came out. Also, apparently, I have started New York, completed London and Santa's Realm. Pretty sure I own all of the rest.
I
Okay.
was going to ask how many have you actually played so far? Because now I have a genuine question of, does the London one take place in like present day London, or is it like 1970s
It's
London, and then
present-day
the New
London.
York one is like
You're
1980s
playing as Jack
New
the
York?
Ripper. It's a real dark entry. Like it's just
Yeah. It's present day London because it's got the Gherkin in there, and it's got the Millennium Bridge and all that other kind of stuff in there.
But yeah, the
Now,
first
if it was
8
a
hours
Yakuza
is
game,
kind of
it'd have
rough,
the
but the
Millennium
other
Tower.
20. Well, yeah, there you go.
I mean,
the final
best
level
part
of
is
every Yakuza game.
the best part is they only take like 3 hours tops to play, and the fact that they have the main map is separated into two, so it's like 2 in fixed positions and then 2 in random locations. So you do the same map twice, and then they have a whole bunch of little hidden ones. The hidden one, the secret levels are fucking nightmarish. Because they're not real cat drawings. They're like little outline sketches of cats, so they just look completely different.
Oof. Alrighty, are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hi, I think. Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones of the numbers.
$5 a month tier. That's the recommended one, as we talk about all the time. That gets you everything, including the Outcast, where we're just all over the place for this week, as we usually are. But this week feels especially scattered, but in kind of a positive way. The wheels didn't fully come off here, except for the Nymph before he tried to start recording today.
Yes.
Yeah, everything fell apart.
Yeah.
And me in my previous recording, apparently.
Yeah. Trying to finish an episode and Moon just lost power. So,
Yep.
That's how the day's going.
Yeah.
You get early access to We Rogue Like It and Critical Misses. You get exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting. Season 35's Critical Misses production meeting is coming up this week. It's a really good one. It's probably one of the most chill ones we've had in a really long time. There's no psychic damage. There's no anything bonkers that happens. It's just kind of almost an hour of us just chilling and talking about movies. And,
New year, new us.
yeah, exactly. We'll have some left turns here before you know it. Don't worry. There's also this week upcoming is a brand new episode of The Wayward Sons, the supernatural TV show watchcast that Moon and Nymph are going through. And you get all of that and more. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers.
Quick plug here. Again, this will be the last plug for my fundraiser live stream that's going on January 31st, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. Come join. I'm going to be hanging out, raising some money. My fundraiser is underway now. I think I just crossed 22,000 raised for this event so far in the last 3 or 4 days. So things are clipping along nicely. Thank you to everybody that has donated so far. Greatly appreciate it. And
you got Clippy to co-stream?
yeah,
How did you do that?
Clippy's going to be there. Reanimated him from Beyond the Grave.
I did see a random video of there being a Clippy music fest or something, and they had a guy in a Clippy mascot costume on
That's
stage.
great.
I don't know
I
if
love
that was
that.
recent or what. It was just a random video that popped up while I was looking for stuff.
I also don't know if it was related to the 102-degree fever I had this week.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
who knows?
Yeah.
Who could really say? So greatly appreciate that. If anyone wants to come and hang out, I always run a really chill stream. So that's January 31st, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Twitch.tv/Boston Hannon. Anyways, Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
We Rogue Like the usual stuff. Check out the Game Club episode that came out previously, because I'll be honest.
Uh-huh.
You remember last week when I talked about how I kicked a habit and I was so proud that I didn't touch it for 6 years or whatever it was?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we were so happy that you quit smoking. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It turns out it's not just the children that yearn for the minds.
Oh, no.
It's the adults.
The adults yearn for the minds too. Quite a lot, if I'm completely honest. Because it's literally the only thing I've played this week is Minecraft.
I was gonna say, have you had to set rules now? Is there a community board up at the Welcome Center? It says you will not get past these turntables until you accept these conditions.
That's right.
No, because at the moment, see, he's doing the smart thing as well. He's even putting the RTX mod.
So this time,
version
instead of
video.
putting in Minecraft long play, I put in Minecraft RTX long play.
I
With
used to-
these reflections.
Yeah, baby.
Mhm.
So Minecraft has changed a lot since I previously played it. A lot.
Okay.
There's so much more stuff in there that I have no idea what any of it is, kind of thing. It is astounding to me how much it has evolved and changed, and yet still everything is the same.
Mm-hmm.
I am doing all of the stuff so I built the home base, right?
Sure.
And it was like Nim said, it was like a little welcome center for everybody joining the server. It's like, okay, you'll spawn in a place that's safe. No monsters are going to get you. I put like a little starting box up there for people to have like a couple of tools, some food, just to get them going. And then, do what you will. It turns out what will happen for me is I will get dragged to build a different home base, like a different starting point that is 4,000 blocks distant from the starting base.
Okay.
Boy, I can already tell it has you because you're measuring in blocks now.
Uh-huh.
I also have the position up though, so it tells me.
Okay.
I'm at like minus 4,100, and the regular starting base is at like minus 100, and it's just like, this is problematic to say the least. So I'm currently building a castle on top of a hill because that's what I do. And digging a mine shaft to gather some diamonds because that's what I do. And then after I have the right amount of diamonds, then I'm going to build a portal to the Nether.
Naturally.
As friend of the show Rob correctly pointed out, the distance in the Nether is compressed compared to the distance on the surface.
Okay.
So it's like, I think it's like 4 blocks to every 1 block essentially. So if you walk 4 blocks in the Nether, you walk 1 block. 1 block in the Nether is 4 blocks in the real world.
Sure.
And my idea was I'm going to build like a railway station right at the home base, and then wherever people build, I'm just going to help them build a railway right to where that is.
Sure.
Oh, you're laying down utilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Socialism, baby.
That's right. That's right.
And then Rob correctly pointed out the distance being different in the Nether. And I was like, well, I mean, if I'm going to build a railway station, I might as well make it a true underground railway station.
Ooh, okay. It is Minecraft after all.
Yes, and build it in the Nether and have the Nether be the railway station.
Like a teleporter railway.
Yes, so you go into the entrance of the underground and you get on the train and you follow the train tracks to wherever you want to go to. And then once you're there, you come out of the train station and you're back in the overworld where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
Yeah. What could go wrong going like Warhammer, going through hell to teleport across space?
That is exactly what I was thinking of. Like you're taking people through the warp to get to places.
Yeah,
it should be fine.
The Minecraft warp.
I don't see any problem with this at all.
Nope. It'll be great.
Let's get those ruins on those minecarts.
I'm going to get that going. And even better than that, Rob was like, no. Like, if you're going to do something like that, you don't build railway tracks because that's so resource intensive, and it is. But I don't have a problem with that because I'll end up with too much iron at the end of the day anyway.
It's for the public good.
Yes. It's socialism, baby.
That's right. Through hell.
And he was like, no. That's not what you do. What you do is you get a bunch of ice blocks.
Oh no.
And you put the ice blocks down, and then you make it single lane, you put a boat on it, and the boat travels super duper fast across the top of ice.
We're doing the same thing, just dangerous.
We're getting closer to Warhammer is what we're doing.
You know what? That's true. That's right.
So there may be an ice/railway station going through hell at some point in my future.
Exactly.
Is all I'm saying.
Oh my god. Okay.
So right now I'm in the process of building my castle, gathering diamonds, and trying to get enough diamonds to make armor and everything else that I need to go into the Nether. Because the best part is, I don't know where home base is from where I am now.
Sure. Right. I get it.
So ideally what I should do is I should build a nether portal where I am, go back to home base, or the starting zone, build another nether portal there, and then write down the coordinates and figure out where I'm going to go. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just gonna go into the Nether and go northeast-ish until I'm roughly in the right place, and then we'll see how it goes.
Trial and error.
There are no flaws in this plan. I appreciate it.
Nope.
None at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take 1,000,000 torches. I'm just gonna light my way through hell, and then it'll be fine. Nothing bad is gonna come from this in the slightest.
Should be fine.
Yeah. It's so much time in Minecraft, dude.
I can't believe, and I can believe how much this has already exploded.
Yeah. Yes. That's the right way of putting it.
But here's the thing, though, is like, so when I started this, I was like, okay, I might get 2 people on the server. If I'm lucky, we might get 2. I got 6 already.
All right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include Nymph's Child, who I still have to figure out some way to get him on there, too.
We haven't even messed with that yet.
And I know Rob was talking about his child potentially joining in, too.
Mm.
So it then becomes this whole thing of, okay, there's more people here than I expected to, and I'll be honest, it is a very meditative state for me when I'm playing Minecraft, especially when I'm not fighting anybody, when I'm literally just going around and mining. That tick 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 thump, 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 as I just destroy the blocks in front of me. It's got this like weird what is it, what's that type of game, Boston, where you just get into a zone, a flow state? It puts me into like a flow state
it
where
soothes a savage beast.
Yes, time goes by, my arthritis doesn't hurt as much. Like it's flow state cubed, one might say, because of the shape of the blocks.
Go into your happy place.
But it's not a happy place. It is I'm going to do these
You're working in the mines.
Yes.
Right. You're putting in a hard day's work.
And then before I know it, it's okay. Now somebody's just died, and I have been summoned to go and help rescue them from the pit of doom that they have found themselves in.
Right.
And inevitably, I die because of it.
Right.
Very annoying.
I mean, this sounds like every Minecraft experience since, what, 2008?
That's right.
I mean, very much, dude. That's probably the last time I played it. Like, that's the scary part. I'm still having fun with it, though. Because it's becoming like a really cool little... Yeah, I'm just going to go in, dig a whole bunch, put my blocks in a box. I finally found some lava, so I made myself a trash can. Because, shockingly enough, I don't need 2 chests full of cobblestone. I want to fill 2 chests full of cobblestone, but I don't need 2 chests full of cobblestone.
Mm-hmm.
I was just sitting here enjoying the aesthetic of that door. I was like, man, that is a nice looking door that they just put in.
It looks great. Now, the one he's playing with is like a different one, so it doesn't look quite that good, the one I'm playing. But also, I don't require everybody to have the texture pack to play it, so... I don't know. It looks great. It still plays fun. It's still fun to play. And like one of those things where you dig in a tunnel and then all of a sudden there's a giant cave and you're just like, oh, this is going to be like the next 2 hours of lighting this place up so that mobs stop spawning.
Yeah.
I really like Minecraft, dude. Like a lot. And it's a problem that I started playing it again because I have people who are playing it with me as well. This isn't a case of, oh, I'll just play something else.
Right.
No, this is a case of, do you want to play this? Because we're all playing it, and we'd really like to see you playing this with us right now.
We need the mayor to join us.
Pretty much, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only person who's got that little symbol next to my name. Like, I can't help it. That's just the way it is.
What have you called your town or your world? Have you called it anything cool?
No, the server's called TVGP.
Okay, so what are you going to call the town?
Nothing, dude.
The Welcome Center.
Something, man.
Everyone has their own buildings and they can refer to their own plot of land as they would see fit, as long as it follows the community guidelines. No swear words, no phalluses in the sky, please and thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Forgot about that. Being able to make your own clouds and stuff.
Yep. This is what I'm saying.
Yep.
It follows the rules of the show for a reason.
That's right.
So
I just remember doing that with Tiltcast forever ago. Had a server going, and I was playing with a bunch of them for a while there, and we were building like houses up in the sky and stuff. And yeah, one of us did that with clouds.
Yep.
And you saying that out loud reminded me of how we all laughed so hard when we each individually recognized what happened.
Right.
I did it once with colored wool and pistons and a water source to make it extremely realistic.
I see.
It was dumb / interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
I will. Random shout out here. Apparently, I did not know this, but apparently, a friend of the show, Rob, has been playing Minecraft on and off for 7 years on a server with one of his friends.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yes, it's super impressive. And like he mentioned it to me when he jumped in. He's like, "Yeah, I've been playing this server with my friend for like 7 years, and we're both crazy. So it's insane the things we did." And halfway through playing, he gets a text message from his friend saying, "I feel cheated on," and it's just like, yeah.
Join the server.
That's right.
I literally said, send him a message, tell him to add me as a friend, join the server, become crazy with the rest of us. Anyway, I like Minecraft too much. Minecraft is fun and stupid.
Minecraft is still Minecraft, but it isn't.
Yes, exactly. It still got the same hooks in it, which all of the previous ones got you.
Right.
It's also just a lot more complicated now. Like there's like drown things and there's portals that are ruined on the surface now, and it's just, I don't know what's going on. All I know is I need hundreds of thousands of maps. That's what I need.
Just trying to help my fellow citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the greater good. Socialism in block form. Again.
Right. That's right.
But yes, that's all I've been playing. Nimp, please talk about anything other than Minecraft.
Well, good news for you. The only other game that I have been playing, only game I've been playing, really.
I thought you were going to be like, well, good news for you, Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah. So my son did recently get the platinum in that a while ago.
Dang, nice.
But anyway, I got my son hooked on, not hooked, but I allowed him to play Demon Souls.
Oh, okay.
And the PS5 remake, and he beat that within like 3 days.
Oh, jeez.
And he keeps coming back to me, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get the platinum. I've only got like blah 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 amount of trophies left." And then he'll pop back and be like, "So I got like 2 more trophies, and I've only got like 4 trophies until the platinum." I'm like, "So are you getting it?" He's like, "No, it's too hard." I'm like, "Yeah, okay.
I'll see you tomorrow."
Yeah, exactly. But it's maybe you want to play that too. But anyway, so yeah, Dragon Age Veilguard is the game I am actually going to talk about. All right, so it's Dragon Age is kind of weird. I'm enjoying the game still. I feel the story flow is off. There are times that I've been playing this that I had the thought pop into my head of this kind of feels like Starfield.
Oh,
where it's not doing anything wrong.
Right.
But it's not doing anything great. It's just serviceable.
Right. It's not like outright bad, but...
Yeah. But then I'll hit pockets of stuff where it's like, man, this is actually really great. This thing that just happened here. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But one of the things that had me thinking this about comparing it with Starfield in this way, and again, no issues with Starfield. That's just... My only complaint is just that it's meh. It's serviceable. That's my only complaint. The game is fine. I beat it. You get to a point in Dragon Age, where they throw in the story of these 2 towns are being attacked, and you were forced to pick which one you're going to save. And these 2 towns are tied to a character that you have so far. And I completely forgot to look up one. Anyway, so because I'm a Shadow Dragon, the one main town that Nev is from, she is also a Shadow Dragon. That was being attacked. Starts with an M. Can't remember it off the top of my head. I should have done my homework better. And then the other town that's also being attacked, it is the home of, and I did write down his name. Let me find his name real quick. Lucanus with the crows. So they come back to you after you find your 6th member. They come back to you and like, hey, both of these dragons are attacking these 2 different towns. So Nev is going to go to the one town. Lucanus is going to his town, and you have to pick right then and there which one are you going to support.
Okay.
So I picked the one that Nev with because I am also a shadow dragon, and the background of my character is this is my town, these are my people that I've sworn to protect. That's where I'm going to go.
Okay.
I sent the other. It was just me and the sixth character that I've picked up. It was just those two characters going to that town.
Okay.
The rest of the group was going over to the other town with Lucanus to help him out with his town.
Okay.
We get to our town, not a whole lot really happens. The dragon's attacking, we fight the dragon, we don't really do a whole lot of damage to it. It flies away.
Okay.
Town is saved, everything is fine over there. We go to the other town. Everyone hates my guts, including the one party member.
Okay,
I'm
great.
like, why? And they both give their own spiel at the beginning about, the innocence and loss of life and all this crap, choose one. So I get there and they start talking about how, the dragon never landed. They couldn't do anything to attack it. It was dropping blight this entire time. Tons of innocents were killed.
Mm.
And everyone is mad at me because I didn't go and help.
Okay.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I told you guys, I went to my town. I swore to protect those people,
Right.
not your people, my people. I did that. I didn't do anything special to bring down this dragon that you guys could have done. The dragon landed. We attacked it. What the hell were you guys doing over here in this town? Obviously nothing.
Also, you sent a grip of dudes to the other town. I just
And that
sent
was
you
my
4
other
people.
thing. Exactly. It's not like I took my whole group and was like, screw that town. I was like, no, I divided it evenly. There were
Right.
3 people in this town, 3 people in this town. We did our stuff. Also, I am not a chosen one. I do not have any special powers or anything that none of anybody else in this world has.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys acting like I was the main difference for why your town suffered, that's completely...
Right, I'm not the dragon that
fallacy
attacked
here.
the town. Come
Yeah,
on, man.
I am not the dragon killer or, champion or anything like that. It got to a point where one of my joke, because I've been using mostly the joke options,
Okay.
because I find them funny and they've been pretty on par with what I've been thinking. One of them was like, hey, you guys need to take a knee or I'm going to start throwing people off the roof of this building.
I'm no longer joking.
Yeah, it's like, and I felt that because I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I don't know why you're all angry at me, acting like I'm the one that sent the dragon on you. So the cool thing about this is that whichever city you choose to save, the other city gets changed. So there's blight
okay.
everywhere. You lose all of your fast travel points. You have to rediscover all of them. The city map changes. You can't get to certain areas through routes you've used before. You can still get to them, but you kind of have to remap the town.
Interesting.
So it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I'm going through and doing that, and I'm still getting all this backlash from random NPCs, and I'm just like, say one more thing, just say it.
That's
I will kill everybody in this town. Don't think I won't.
I'll finish what the dragon started, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing that kind of sucks is that now, since I didn't choose the town for Lucanus, I lost him for a while because he was staying behind to help rebuild the town, which is fine. It's like, okay, cool.
That's
you have
interesting enough.
It's not like he shoved off. He's like, oh, you're such a douche and you didn't help and blah 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 kind of thing. But later, and I'm talking way later, I have 7 characters now. I've got all the characters now. He eventually comes back and he's got kind of a chip on his shoulder, and I put him in his place real quick with the first option. It's like, hey, you need to calm it down.
That's
all
right.
right, you don't need to be here.
Right.
And it's been fine since. But the weird thing is too is that now that I've chosen that town to be sacrificed or whatever, I lost him for a bit. When he comes back with this hardened stat, and I actually took a picture of this because I thought it was kind of interesting and kind of weird. So now that he has hardened, it actually says for him specifically, I guess his name is right there, or the town name is here. After experiencing the blighted dragon attack in Treviso, Lucanus is less trusting and more self-reliant. His damaging abilities are increased, but he will no longer use supportive abilities, and relationship progress is slowed.
Oh, interesting. That's kind of
And
neat.
it would be that same way with Nev if I chose to go to Treviso
Right.
instead of the other place. Which, I mean, the fact that I think every I'm trying to think real quick. I believe the only supportive thing that all the characters have is just like they can heal you. So the fact that he can't heal me, okay, cool. Like healing hasn't been an issue for me. I have 3 potions, and I have a different character with me at all times who can heal me. So big whoop on that one. But I just thought that was kind of. I don't feel that was earned up to that point so far. Like this kind of just seems shoved in there. Like, oh, we have to have have to have the player make a choice. It's like, but it wasn't a good choice, and the effects of people being angry at me are not a good one.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I gave him a lot of credit for at least trying to do, like, obviously it's going to impact the story. But I give him credit for at least trying to do some gameplay effects too. Of like, well, this dude comes back and he's upset about this thing, so he's not gonna heal you anymore. And like, you're not just gonna be friends. You don't just like hand him a gift and he's like, well, what? I'm okay now. Let's make out. Like it's not that.
Yeah, they just needed to go about this specific part a little differently. That's all. Because the way they have it done right now, it's like when the choice came up, I'm like, oh, I know what this is.
Right.
And it is not going to go well for the other person, and this is stupid. I hate that.
Right.
It's kind of thing. So, barring that, the fun stuff that I've been having, there have been a lot of interesting areas and conversations that I've had. Belarus is one of the characters that you get. She's an elven, I guess, like tinkerer, basically. She messes around with, well, she doesn't mess around. She fixes artifacts. Okay. And because magic has been acting super weird since, the start of the game when you stopped Solus from doing his thing, magic has gotten really weird, and all the artifacts are starting to also act in unpredictable ways, and it's being a problem. So she's going around trying to fix these issues. And in one of the character, the character-specific side quest, you are helping her basically like tune the artifacts back in so that they stop running wild. And we walk into an honest-to-goodness SCP vault. And I was so happy, and I wrote down lots of notes about random stuff. So basically you walk into this room and there's like these arches that all have like their little branching off rooms, and every arch has like this basically blue magical field that prevents you from getting in there because they each house an artifact that could go wild at any moment. And while you're helping her with that, I was walking around, it's like, oh, these all have plaques on them. I'm going to sit here and read these plaques and figure out what these items are. It's just like Control when you find the containment area, and it's like, hey, here's a little snippet on what this is.
Yeah, that's cool.
One of them that I found was called the Tears of June. Found at the bottom of a large well, artifact will separate all nearby materials in constituent pieces when unstable. Materials do include people.
Right. Okay.
One containment field just had a wheel of cheese in it, with a wedge missing in it. No information listed at all. I have no reason why that's in there, but that has to be a thing. So that's the kind of stuff. There's like a bunch of others too that I didn't write down because they actually are like a pretty decent paragraph, but like reading through them, it was like, oh, this is really cool. There was another one that I found that was talking about when it goes wild, it just melts everything within like a certain radius of it. And you can see some of the damage within the containment area as well. It's like, oh man, this is really sweet. So helping her with that was one of the events where it's like, man, this, the lore and part of this is really good. I'm really liking this. There's also another part where two of your characters, one of your character comes with you with a griffin, and I won't get into the whole reason for that, but I had two of my characters in the party, and one of them starts talking about how they're not feeding the griffin properly. And the guy's like, okay, let's pretend I care to hear what you're going to say. Right. What makes you think I'm not feeding this griffin properly? And they spend the next 2 minutes talking about griffin poop. And how it was watery and this, that, and the other. And then once this person wraps that up. They're like, so basically the reason for that is because you are not feeding them enough fiber. You need to feed them vegetables.
Okay.
And the person with the griffin is like, well, it doesn't like vegetables. And the other person's like, nobody likes vegetables. It
Right.
doesn't mean that you don't eat them.
Right. Boy.
The griffin is a child.
Yes. Yeah, and it is a young griffin too. It's not an adult griffin. So yeah, there's that going on. One of my favorite characters that I got last, you see all these characters in the beginning, so it's not a spoiler. Emmerich. He is a necromancer.
Okay.
And anyone listening to the show knows I love me a good necromancer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the original lore of necromancers, being protectors of the balance, life into death, making sure nothing interrupts the balance. He has a servant, an undead servant named Manfred.
Okay.
And I fell in love with Manfred the moment he showed up.
Okay.
Not Mandead, just Manfred. Huh? Not Mandead, Manfred.
Nope, just
really?
Manfred. Yep. So, when you help Emmerich through his stuff, you come back and you get done, and this is the whole quest to basically get him to come join your group because you need an expert. And when you get done fighting everything, all of a sudden this skeleton shows up with like this silver tray set of tea, like a kettle and everything. And I'm like, what is this? And Emmerich mentions like, okay, and this is my servant. He's come to bring us something to drink. And one of the options is, oh, this is such a joy. And I selected that.
Sure, naturally.
Manfred does not talk. He just hisses.
Oh,
and
even better.
It's kind of like, what is it, the Icor from Mass Effect?
Mm-hmm.
Where it'll preface pleasant hiss, angry hiss, kind of thing. So you can get a gist of what kind of hiss is happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And every time Manfred has shown up, it has been nothing but compliments from my character.
That's great.
Like, I feel like I have more clout with the manservant than I do with the actual character.
Romance route you're going under.
Exactly. And the background story behind him is pretty cool because you find out that Emmerich had this wisp that was following him around. Wisp or spirits, basically, was following him around because it was curious on what Emmerich was doing with his research.
I legitimately thought you said whisk. I was like, why is a cooking item trying to follow somebody around?
WISP. So after a while, the wisp becomes more and more curious, and then Emmerich decides, well, if you're just going to hang around me, let's get you a body. So him and the wisp go through and pick out specific bones and stuff that the wisp enjoys, and Emmerich starts putting them together, and then he imbues the wisp into the skeleton corpse.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing has like these green diamond eye things and a backpack with all of his stuff. And he just walks around and follows Emmerich like the entire time.
That's really good.
I have been served tea twice now. The last time was doing Emmerich's companion quest, where we walk through a graveyard. Got a ton of awesome lore with this. Like, this was another moment where I was like, this is a really good story moment in this game. And we get to the end of it, and Manfred is in the background, has the tea set down on a table, pulls out a chair, is sitting there wiping the chair down for you to sit down. And then Emmerich's like, well, let's, put a happy conclusion on this tour. Would you like some tea? And I'm like, if Manfred's excited for it, yeah, I'm going to have tea.
It would be my pleasure.
And I get a pleasant hiss out of it. I'm like, this is just fabulous.
Best friends.
So I am really enjoying everything about Manfred. He is a great character in this so far.
So good.
But yeah, other than that, everything else, a lot of the story stuff, like I said, it's like just every once in a while, it's like, man, this is really not going anywhere.
Right.
And then it'll pick up, and then it'll just kind of slope back down. So it's just uneven a little bit. The exploration's pretty all right. I don't have any issues with that. The battles or the fighting is fine. I've got some new skills that I'm learning and trying to adapt into combat and stuff. There is a lot of combinations that you can do between the characters, and it actually shows you when you hold down R1, you get that prompt, that new window, and that pauses time. It'll show you if you select a character ability from anyone, it'll kind of highlight another character's ability if they'll like synergize, and there'll be like arrows going to it.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, hey, if you're going to do this, you should use this ability over here from this character. And then when you click on that, sometimes you'll even get it. It's like, and then you should use this ability on this other character to mesh with that ability.
That's cool.
And then next thing you know, you're doing like 19,000 points of damage.
Dang,
So,
all right.
yeah, I have taken down many a bosses very quickly on using some of that stuff. So it's been great. One more thing I want to point out real quick is that you can fully map the buttons on the controller.
Oh, nice.
So that's something I don't know why that's not standard, but I just want everyone to know Dragon Age Veilguard, don't pay full price for it, but do get it for Manfred.
That's right. That's right.
That's all I have to say.
That's right.
It's the best. Just him. That's all I got. So, Austin, what have you been playing this week?
Oh man, I haven't really had time to play anything this week because I've been doing fundraiser stuff. Again, thank you everyone for being so generous with their donations. I did want to put a shout out here though for Playnite, which is something that friend of the show and our good friend Feyrar recommended to me a couple of months ago, and I've been using it for a couple of months. I guess she heard it from Vinny Caravella on Nextlander, and I am not up to that episode of that show yet. But basically, it's a library aggregator for all of your PC games. So it's going to bring together your libraries for Steam, Epic, GOG, the Microsoft Store, and itch. And it will put all of that stuff in the same kind of like single pane of glass. And it has a very similar kind of look to how Steam looks, but there's a lot more configuration options that you can do. One thing that I think is really clever about this is not only does it collect and collate the games you have installed, it also collects all the games that you don't have installed. And if you want to install that game from Steam or GOG or wherever, as long as you have you're logged in and you have whatever add-ins that you need to do to get it working, you can just install those games straight from Playnite and get them working. Cool. Which I think is super cool. So that's what I've been using a lot for on my Steam Link. I'll fire up Moonlight, and through Moonlight I have it fire up Playnite. And at that point, I just have any game installed on my PC available there. I don't really care where it's coming from. It's just all in the same grid there for Playnite, which has been pretty cool because it stops the thing of like, okay, well, let's fire up Steam. Oh, no, I don't have it installed on Steam. Oh, yeah, I have it. I got it on the Epic Store because it was free one time 2.5 years ago. And now I'm playing it for something. Okay, let me fire that up over there. It also does have emulation integration as well. I haven't messed with any of that because I like a lot of these platforms want to integrate with RetroArch, and I don't really like RetroArch in general. So I don't have any of that stuff configured. But I did want to give a shout out to this because I think Playnite, it's Playnite, all one word. I think it's cool. I think it's a neat, like, I know plenty of groups have tried to make these interfaces before of like, and GOG Galaxy tried to do this as well, but they never really kind of stuck with me. And I think the combination of having it available on my Steam Link, it has helped a ton. Especially to just have like, all right, I fired up this thing and I have the Steam, it's like a Steam big picture sort of view, but it's for every game I have installed. So it's cool. Playnite, it's neat. It's free. It was super easy to set up too. The only part that was kind of like it took the longest was essentially once it goes and finds everything that you have installed, and it has kind of like pulled everything from all the stores. It takes a little while it to fill in like cover images and tags and stuff like that, but it just kind of works in the background. So it's like at the beginning you just have this big grid of like gray posters, but it starts filling that stuff in pretty quickly, and then you can start filtering stuff of like, oh, I only want to see Steam games that support controllers that are roguelikes, or I only want to see stuff that I have installed from itch.io or stuff like that. So it's cool. I like it. Playnite.
No.
Give it a shot, especially if you're looking at either like a home theater PC or something like that. So that's really it. I played a little bit of Balatro, but like not a whole ton. A lot of my week was spent trying to play that and like playing, switching between checkered deck, which is the one where you only have spades and hearts, and then switching to another deck and being like, oh wait, yeah, no, I don't know how to play this game if it's not just flushes, so I'll just go back to the checkered deck. Never mind. Yeah, I didn't really have a ton of time. I did also fight a boss very quickly in it's still like a tutorial boss in Metaphor, and got completely destroyed, and I'm like, okay, I gotta come back to this later when I can use my brain to fight this boss. That wasn't really happening.
Was it the one in the tower?
No, it was in a cave.
Okay.
It's basically like after I finished the battle, I realized I should just be switching my group between the front row and the back row, but it had been so long since I played it, I forgot there were 2 rows. So I'm like, okay, I clearly need to come back to this at some other time.
It's happened to me before, where it's like I'll switch someone to like a physical when they were like a mage or something before, and it's like, why are they doing so much less damage? It's like, oh, I never moved them back up front.
Right. Yeah, so I gotta get back on that. But anyways, that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Oh goodness. Okay, let me switch to this. Open up ye old show notes.
5 more weeks.
5 more weeks, baby.
Is it bad that I feel like 2025 is like the first year that I'm actually playing current gen games in Alan Wake and Monster Hunter World or
True.
Wilds? Like everything else has just felt like, yeah, this could run on the last platform.
Right.
It took them a while to get there.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing load screens.
For
just random games every once in a while where it's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're just gonna load now. It's
Well,
like,
we're watching footage from Veilguard, and they're still doing the like side to side shimmy through a crevice. And it's like, stop.
So far, I've only had that happen once.
Okay.
Because I did remember someone talking about how they did the God of War thing of like, yeah, shimmying through the crack or whatever. Right. And it only happened to be one time when I was doing a companion quest, and I was like, oh, yep, there's one.
Yep.
And then I don't remember it happening again so far. So maybe as I progress later on, it does get to that point, because I think I'm just past the halfway point in the game right now. So
that's not bad.
But yeah, at least in the beginning, it's not that noticeable or prominent.
Right. All right, you guys ready to do this next part?
Sure.
Yup.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of January 27th, 2025. First up, Botany Manor for the PS4 and PS5. This was supposed to come out, I think, 2 months ago or so, and it looks like it got delayed. It looks like it's coming out this week. We talked about this on Game Club a couple months ago. It's cool. It's a first-person floral adventure puzzle thing. It was neat. It's not super long. So if you're looking for something that's kind of like a little bit mind-stretching, but not, something that's going to take you forever to play, then you can check out Botany Manor. It's fun. It's cool. Eternal Strands comes out PS5, Series consoles, and PC. Game Pass day and date. This is an interesting thing. It's a third-person kind of action-y RPG. The biggest thing that seems to be going for it is combining your magical abilities. So it looks like you're kind of smushing together 2 or more spells that you have in interesting ways. So, like in the video here, they're just making an ice wall to protect yourself, and then picking up the ice wall and throwing it at enemies. So, looks kind of neat. Has a really cool style. Looks like there's a bunch of like giants that you can crawl and walk all over and slash. It looks neat. I don't know. This seems like a game for me, and I hadn't seen anything about it until I looked at the releases today. So that's Eternal Strands. Looks pretty neat. Check it out. Next up is Orcs Must Die Death Trap. Comes out on series consoles and PC. Game Pass day and date. Looks like they are... So, the other Orcs Must Die games have largely been like a third-person tower defense wave-based sort of thing. This one looks a little bit different, where it's a third-person shooter and like a roguelike tower defense thing at the same time. So it looks like they're trying to take the formula they already have and kind of continue to extend it a little bit. Did you either of you guys ever play any of the other Orcs Are Dead?
Nope.
Orcs Must Die?
Nope.
I've always heard that they're fun games.
Yeah,
and just
I've
never
always
got
wanted
around
to
to
play
them.
them, and I feel like they'd probably be cool, like 2 or 3 player kind of things, but just never really got around to them. So I kind of can't get a temperature before the game comes out of, are people excited for these changes, or is it like too much of a departure from the kind of formula they had already? I'm not entirely sure. But I think it looks kind of neat. I think if you got a bunch of peeps that and everybody has Game Pass, seems like it's a good thing to try out, I think. That's Orcs Must Die Death Trap. Next up is The Stone of Madness. Comes out PS5, Series Console, Switch, and PC. They themselves call it a hardcore real-time tactics and stealth game set in a Spanish madhouse in the late 18th century. I think if you see any screenshots or footage of this game, you probably can kind of tell what sort of game it is. It's an isometric, almost like hand-drawn looking kind of exploration RPG thing, where you're sneaking around. It reminds me a lot of kind of stuff that I really loved on the PC in the 90s. That kind of like hardcore, keep trying until you get it right sort of thing. So looks pretty neat. I like the style of it. They're describing it as hardcore, so maybe it's not for me, but nice to see that people are making some cool stuff out there.
I like roguelikes, but the word hardcore means it's not for me, really.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like every roguelike. Something's got to be at the bottom of our list, right?
Yeah. Sea of Stars. Or whatever that thing is called.
Black Sea Odyssey.
Yeah, that thing.
Sorry, Black Sea Odyssey's devs. Goodness. Next up is Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter. Comes out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, PC, macOS, and Linux.
Is this cat-based?
No, this is
rat-based.
Yeah, rat-based. Nimp, you played the first one, right?
Yeah. I did, and my son did. We both platinumed it. It was a pretty fun game. So I'm looking forward to this at some point. I am not here day one for it, unfortunately. Because I just don't have time, but it is on my list to come back and grab this game.
Yeah, the first one people seem to really like because it was kind of a 2D side-scrolling, like Souls-light sort of thing. It has those kind of mechanics, but it's not super brutal, at least like gameplay-wise. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do for a sequel, because I think the first one was kind of a sleeper hit. I think it did pretty well once it caught fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounded like one of those word-of-mouth things where when it released, not a whole lot of people knew about it, and then as people played it, it started picking up.
Right.
I think it regularly goes on sale for sub $20.
Yeah, it goes on sale for pretty cheap too. So
yeah,
I'm curious to see how what they're gonna do with this one. Hopefully, it's not. When some of these games get a sequel, it's always like, well, you guys went too far. It's like too big. It's too complex. From a lot of the gameplay, it looks like it's pretty similar to the first one. I hope they keep it kind of mechanically similar and keep the strengths of the first game strong. So. Next game here, Warside, comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, PC, and Linux. It's Advance Wars. It's another in the long line of games we've been getting lately of fine, I'll do it myself genres.
Yep.
Of just like, okay, you're not gonna make a traditional Advance Wars. I'm going to literally just make one of those. If you're curious about. If you're not watching the video version of this, go watch a trailer of it. You can tell within about 0.5 seconds, it's just an Advance Wars. So
if no one had said this wasn't an Advance Wars game, there is nothing here besides the name to tell you that this isn't Advance Wars.
Right.
It looks 1-to-1 exact.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Kind of surprised that there wasn't a legal.
That's right. That's right. The pixel art looks really good. The maps look like they're kind of big enough. I think it looks pretty cool. So that's Warside, all one word. Next up, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, very similar game here. Comes out on Switch and PC. This game took off like wildfire on mobile devices, especially on Apple Arcade. It came out in 2023. I think people, as the popularity of the most recent Animal Crossing sort of waned,
Looking for alternatives.
yeah, people picked this up, and from everything I've heard, it's literally just one of those games, just with a Hello Kitty Sanrio kind of coating on top of it. So people seem to really like it. It didn't seem like it was kind of exploitative from a mobile standpoint. I expect that it won't have. I hope it won't have any kind of like microtransaction business when it comes to stuff like Switch. That's no guarantee, but we'll see how much it is. Hopefully they don't do the double dipping of like, yeah, it's $20 and then there's a bunch of MTX in here. I was like, that's no thank you. So that's coming out this week as well, alongside Phantom Brave: The Lost Hero, PS4, PS5, and Switch. This is, I still have to remind myself, this is not a remake of the first Phantom Brave from the PS2. This is an actual sequel to that game from 20-something years ago, which is...
Yeah, 2007?
Wow,
6?
Okay, yeah.
Because Disgaea was 2002?
Yeah, and this was like their next kind of larger hit after that. Like, La Pucelle Tactics didn't really do anything.
God, we need La Pucelle Tactics to come back. But they did do a remake for Phantom Brave. So
yes, they did, yeah. And this is the full sequel here. So
correct.
These games are... I don't really want to be super reductive, but if you have played any of these kind of like NIS tactics games, they're all mechanically very similar. So if you don't...
Yes.
If you go and you're like, oh, I don't really like Disgaea, do you think I'll like Phantom Brave? No. Just like, it's a different flavor of this sort of thing that they typically make. So it's not...
The prime difference was in this one, for you to get your units, you would use items in the world and they would turn into your units, which was a cool system. But after you've done that, though, like you were saying, it's exactly Disgaea. Yeah.
It's the same like grid-based SRPG sort of thing. So I liked the first one. I never really finished it because I feel like I was a little burnt out on the first one or two Disgaea games. But these are cool. I like
because you can go into every single item and have
a
dungeon
really
in the items.
It's because it's cool as hell, man. Yeah. So so that's coming out this week. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 comes out on PC. This is another Nix's joint. I feel like this is one of those games that I don't know what to say about this. All three Spider-Man games have been really good. There's a lot of Venom in this one, and he's super cool. This was fun to play. I liked this one quite a bit, and like most of the Sony Nix's stuff on PC, it will probably run really great and look incredible. So should be neat. If you haven't played the other two ones, you should play those ones first though, because those are also really good. Especially Miles Morales. That's a great game.
Yeah. And Miles Morales is pretty short too. I think
it's very short.
12 hours, maybe less.
I think I finished it in under 15. Yeah, I didn't do 100%. I think if you do 100%, it's probably like 20 max. So it's not really that much. So and last but not least here, Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector comes out. PS5, Series Console, Switch, PC, and macOS. This is Game Pass day and date, and it is our next Game Pass game. So if you want to play along with us.
Game Club game, not Game Pass game.
It is our latest Game Pass game and Game Club game. Marketing. But yeah, I'm so excited for this game. I have seen so little about this game because I'm just trying to go into it as blind as I possibly can. Largely because the developers have said that they're kind of taking what made the first Citizen Sleeper great and kind of expanding it a little bit more with more characters, a larger area for you to be in and sort of operate in. I'm very curious to see if they're going to continue any of the story from the free DLC packs from the first one, because I think some of that stuff was going in interesting ways. If you're looking to play the first one, also, it's on PS Plus and Game Pass right now, so you can go check that out. First game's great. It's a cool dice-based tabletop RPG, and this one looks like it's going to kind of take that same thing and extend it a little bit. So, nice. Fairware in chat says you said Switch, right? Yes, it's coming out on Switch. Which is smart, because I think that's a really great platform for it. So, as Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector as our last of the 50 million video games that got announced and are coming out this week. But we have two quick news stories here. The first one is that Extremely OK Games, which if you don't recognize their name, is basically the studio that formed out of the success of Celeste. So a lot of the team members that worked on that game formed that studio to really kind of get their next thing going. And their next thing was going to be Earthblade, but they announced this week that they canceled development on Earthblade a couple of months ago. The main thing that they had been attributing to the cancellation is really, they put out a really good update on their website that I feel like was shockingly honest about the situation. It basically said there was a disagreement among some of the staff members, and it caused a quote-unquote fracture in the team around the IP rights to Celeste. Obviously, because it's IP rights and it's going to be some sort of legal thing, we'll never really know what the deal is. We're not going to speculate. But that's sort of what started the fracture. As a result, their art director, Pedro Medeiros, left Extremely OK Games in November. And at that point, the two leads, Maddie Thorsten and Noel Berry, who's sort of like are co-leading Extremely OK Games, sort of took a step back on Earthblade and looked at the development and looked at the game kind of holistically and found that development wasn't really progressing either fast enough or kind of in the way that they were hoping. And they kind of weren't really looking forward to continuing development on Earthblade. And it sounds like the split wasn't necessarily the reason for that, but it was just kind of like getting into the development of the game. It all wasn't energizing them, and it wasn't all kind of coming together how they wanted to. And the thing that I'm kind of surprised about here is Maddie Thorsten says, quote, "I feel many ways about it, but one big feeling is undoubtedly relief." Which I think is pretty interesting of them just being like, it just, for as cool as it looked and as cool as it could have been, it just wasn't coming together. I think the really depressing quote here is from Maddie. Also says, quote, because this is the internet, I want to be unequivocal here and say that the decision and responsibility for canceling Earthblade rests entirely on me and Noel, end quote. Gosh. And they're basically saying, like, hey, man, don't blame Pedro for this. Don't blame Lena Rain, who is going to be the composer. Like, don't blame any of these people for the cancellation. It wasn't their fault. They're not the reason for this stuff to get canceled. And also, that sometimes just happens with stuff, especially, you know, something that you're in the middle of development. Like, sometimes it just doesn't happen. So I give them a lot of credit for coming out and being like that, transparently honest about it, especially as it sounds like the split on the team wasn't necessarily super amicable. But I'm also personally kind of bummed because I thought the next game from the Celeste team, that Earthblade seemed like a bigger thing. I think that seemed pretty neat. But it's nice to know that Extremely OK Games is still around. Right now it's just Thorsten and Barry are the only two employees there, and they've said that they say they're going to wipe the slate clean and just do smaller scale projects. And they said that they're looking to rediscover game development closer to kind of how Towerfall and Celeste were developed, as these kind of smaller scale things. So hopefully they get to a better place and they kind of can rediscover the joy of you know, development and creativity, and however that made Towerfall and Celeste come to be. But
yeah,
it's a bummer. But
Yep.
you know, I always appreciate when studios and development teams are able to come out and be like, yeah, I mean, it was hard. There's a lot of decisions, and we had to make a really hard one, and we're all bummed. So, you know. Next news story here. A really interesting one. Insomniac Games' CEO and founder Ted Price to step down after 30 years. 30 years leading Insomniac Games. He says, quote, after 30 years of leading Insomniac, I felt it was simply time to step aside and let others pave the way for our team, end quote. There are going to be 3 people co-leading Insomniac at this point. Chad Desrin, Ryan Schneider, and Jen Huang are going to be the 3 leaders of Insomniac. They're calling them co-studio heads when Price leaves. He said, quote, there's no way I would ever consider handing the reins to a team I didn't trust to take care of Insomniacs and lead us to even greater heights. Chad, Jen, and Ryan are that team, end quote. It's really interesting because, like, I feel like we almost never see Ted Price anywhere, so I always forget that he's just been leading Insomniac forever, through almost all of the stuff that they've ever made. And then kind of like he did before, he's just like gonna quietly leave and be like, all right, 30 years sounds pretty good, all right, see you later, bye. It's like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, not every CEO needs to make headlines. I'm looking at the CEOs.
Every other CEO.
Every other CEO on the planet.
Not every CEO needs to be forced out.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So that's cool. I for a lot of other studios, I feel like I'd be worried. Like if Kojima was going to leave his studio, I'd be like, oh no, that's going to be pretty bad. But I feel like Insomniac has been in such a good place for so long that I bet this doesn't really rock the boat in any sort of significant way. So, which is, I'm hoping, the sign of a good, healthy studio, but I'm not entirely sure I know. So that'd be cool. And hopefully we kind of don't hear from any of the 3 people leading the studios now. You know, like,
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So
hopefully we just hear that they're working on a new Ratchet and Clank, and
please, yes.
and then it just
God, I
gets
can
left
only
at
hope.
that.
Yeah.
I know, it feels like it's been long enough. We need another one.
Yeah, because the last one was on PS5 launch, and that game is great.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's a super cool game. I'd like to see what they do with another Ratchet and Clank, because those games are great.
Not that the only thing they can make is that, but it helps that they make that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of their other stuff has been really good. So, thankfully. All right, that's all of our news stories, which means that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We greatly appreciate it. TVGP.tv is where you can go to visit us. Everywhere you can find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are the numbers.
$5 a month tier is the recommended one. That gets you everything. Anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Best way you can support us, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. That you'll get a notification every time we go live. If you hit some button over there, I have no idea. And remember, we live stream same place, same time every single week. And rate us on podcatchers. That's the word I was trying to remember was podcatcher. If you can rate us, that helps really a lot for the algorithm. And that helps us get in front of more people's eyeballs and ear holes, and that really does help the show quite a bit. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
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 All right, Nimp, what are your titles?
All right. I have. So Minecraft has changed. You are measuring in blocks now. The Minecraft warp. And it soothes the savage beast. Obviously, I figured we hit our peak with all the Minecraft ones.
Moon, what do you have?
Going through hell, the Minecraft warp, socialism through hell, flow state cubed, and not man dead ?
I have Minecraft RTX long play, blocks in a box, I love me a good necromancer, and my personal vote, a pleasant hiss.
I mean, I'm down with pleasant hiss.
Plus, hiss is just a fun word to say. Hiss. But, like, pleasantly.
Sure, we can do that, and I'm ready.
Oh, my. All right, I'm circling it.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 901 for January 27th, 2025. A pleasant hiss.
Such a soothing sibilance.
2024 is 2025's best character ever.
Also, big props for you saying the word sibilance, Moon. That's a great one.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We do greatly appreciate it. If this is your first time watching, please follow us. We're here literally every week at the same time doing episodes of TV.
Usually the same time.
Same time-ish.
Yeah.
Kinda-ish. You know, around. You'll get a notice. Just be ready.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's right. You be ready, we'll be here. All right. Everyone have a good week. See you next time. Bye.